subscribers now, which is kind of exciting. And one of the things is that they get early episodes. And I am a procrastinator. I read somewhere though, I'm a procrastinator, but like I'm accepting it. Like, the Badass series, the woman Jen Sincero who writes these You Are a Badass books. I love them. If you're looking for good, like pump you up books, or like, there's a really loud car outside, an unnecessarily loud car outside. I'm an old man. Jen Sincero, if you're looking for like pump me up, self-help books, look at the Badass series. She was talking about how like some people are just procrastinators but also perform better under pressure, or like, so if you're a person that like my deadline is Thursday at this time, and you will get it done. You're just better if you do it early morning Thursday and you do all of it. So it's better to just enjoy your life from now until Thursday and do whatever you want to do, instead of what I'll usually do is just like put pressure on myself, be mad at myself, but then still end up doing it on Thursday and getting it done anyway. So she's just like, if you're one of those people, just accept it and thrive in the way that you get stuff done. But I am trying to get this stuff out there. I have 2 bonus episodes for my Patreon subscribers. I have a Patreon now. I don't know if I've mentioned it several times, but I have 2. One of them, so one of the episodes is I'll be releasing them all today. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you get 2 extra episodes a month or more if I want to do more. But right now I'm just doing 2 because my little kitten is just yelling. It's just yelling. But one of them, I dive deep into my belief that Paul McCartney died in 1966. So if you would like to hear my evidence behind that, subscribe to my Patreon. And all this stuff is on my website or my link in my bio on my Instagram, kimkral.com. But so I'm trying not. So it's just like but I realized before I started the Patreon, I was like, don't offer early episodes. It's like access to early episodes. Like I have early episodes. I used to record these like literally at 11 a.m. every Wednesday. But I'd get it done. And now it's, I don't know, what is it? Tuesday? It might be Tuesday or Wednesday. Anybody else having a hard time with the world reopening? I'm having a hard time with the world reopening. Like, especially the whole comparing my insides to other people's outsides. I have a lot of comic friends who are out there really performing and hitting open mics and getting booked on these massive shows that I'm just like, maybe I'm just not ready yet. I mean, I went to an open mic last week. It was fine. I don't know. So I show up and I go with this girl who is a potential new friend, and she's great. She's very nice. She's great. Whatever, right? She's very funny. And she takes me to this open mic, and we get there, and it's like in the back alley of some place. And I put my mask on, or I have my mask on from, once I get out of my car, and she doesn't. And then we walk up to get inside the building, and I was like, "Oh, are you going to put on your mask?" And she goes, "Oh, no, you don't have to here." And I was like, "Oh, it's indoors." And she goes, "Yeah, nobody cares." I was like, oh, okay. So we walk in, I have my mask on. It for sure smells like a dead body. And I was like, "Oh, what's the smell?" She's like, "What smell?" I'm like, "Okay." Literally no one has a mask on, and I'm the only one. And I was like, I'm out of place. How am I out of place wearing a mask? And she goes, "It doesn't matter. You can wear it or you don't have to." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." And one girl came out of the earlier mic and she had a mask on, and I was just like, "Okay, cool." And this girl I'm with, she goes, "Oh yeah, they performed throughout the whole pandemic. Like they were the one that did like the underground shows." And I was like, "Oh my God." I mean, I already signed up and paid, and I had my mask on, and I'm vaxxed, and I had it. So like, I feel like at this point, but I will not go back. But it was just, dude. And we went in there and no one had their mask on. I was the only one with their mask. A few people just didn't even have one near them. Yeah, it was an experience. So it's just like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back. And I did perform in the pandemic, in outside safe shows. And so I just, it's so hard though, I just comparing your insides to other people's outsides. I'm working on a bunch of other stuff. I obviously comedy is not. I'm a comedian. Will be back to do it, but I don't know. I'm also realizing with my health. I'm finally. I don't know if that's finally. I'm not putting a timeline on myself, but I'm accepting that my body has changed, and I will be. This is my new normal. And I said it out loud the other night when I was talking to my Aunt Midge, and I had an emotion about it. I emoted. I hadn't said it out loud yet, but it was just like, I don't remember what it was like before I had COVID. I've felt like this for so long. Yeah. So it's just like, it takes me longer to do things. I kind of have a headache all the time, and tiny things make me dizzy and want to throw up. And I can't do too much. Otherwise I need to sleep for several hours. And I mean, I'm building my endurance. I'm trying to do, I have a new goal of every other day, light yoga. And then in between days, walking 5,000 steps. I was going to do 10,000 steps, but then I would quickly realize that's very hard to do. And why am I pushing myself like this? Like, it's like I had this wild virus. It stayed with me. I'm one of the long COVID people. It's nice. So I've joined a bunch of groups on like Facebook and Instagram where I get to see that I'm not the only one, and that people are starting to accept that this is how their body operates now. It just really sucks. It's really hard. And some people are just really insensitive about it, which sucks too. I don't know. I'm in it, guys. I'm in it. I'm in the part where in my recovery program too, where my sponsor is just like, oh yeah, this is usually when people quit, because it gets really hard. And it's like, I've already admitted all my shit. I've already like looked at it. More memories are coming up, which is fun. But like, now it's just like, it's the hard part where most people drop off. And it's true. You see, I mean, this, like, the program I'm in is like one of the harder ones. And that's according to people that I know who've been in all of them. Are like, oh yeah, we dive, like, this is just like, we dive deep into some really wounded, scary, dark places. And I'm just in it right now. I'm in it. And my codependency is coming out. My guy, who, I don't know, you guys have been on this journey for like 5 months now at this point. Fuck, it's been like 5 months. It's like, God, I don't know, dude. It's fine. Or it's 4 months, January, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's interesting. He's detached and distant, and I'm needy and pushy and codependent. So it's just like a horrible combo. And the only thing, again, I wasn't going to talk about this today. He doesn't listen to this. So, is I just need to let it go. It's funny because I have a close relationship of mine that we're the opposite. She's being codependent and pushy, and I'm being detached and distant. And so it's giving me an insight on how he, and again, like, I'm comparing my insides to his outsides. We've just been distant for a little bit, and he has not been himself. And I'm like jumping to conclusions, and I think I just need to let it be. But fuck. So I'm just in it, just like everything. But a couple of years ago, I had this guy on the Kim and Ken show, and he's one of my favorite guests. I'm hoping to have him on Crawling Up, Eric Lampere. He's so fucking funny, and he's been through a bunch of stuff, and we had so much fun every time he's on the Kim and Ken show, but I was portrayed in that show as kind of an idiot, right? Which is something I've had to like look back on and like work on my side of the street. And I don't work with people who support me in that way as co-hosts, I'm trying to say that without like shit talking, but yeah, my side is that I accepted it. And so I saw Eric, well, he came on the show one day on the Kim and Ken show, and we were talking about something, and I was just like, I said something like not stupid, I guess. And he stopped and looked at me, and he goes, what was that? And I was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Because you guys know I'm not dumb, but that's a defense mechanism and a survival trait I had. So sometimes when I feel unsafe, it comes out. And I always was kind of guarded on that show. Even though I was really, I was very candid, but just guarded because just not a healthy environment. But yeah, he like looked at me and he goes, oh my God, I see you for like the first time I'm seeing you. That's wild. And I was like, what? And he was just like, okay, I got it. And then I went to his one-man show, which was really awesome and fun. I can't wait. I'm going to reach out to him today. We'll get him on the show the next couple months. But I went to it and it was awesome. And we were talking, and he goes, honestly, on that show, every time I got interviewed by you and how you were treated in that room, I just thought you were a total idiot, which sucks. And it's not like he was saying it now because he was like, you're not an idiot. And I was just like, yeah, I'm trying to like break out of that mold, and it's really painful. It's really uncomfortable, and there's a lot of people in my life who aren't having it, don't like it at all, including my old co-host. It was really painful and really hard. And he said something to me that I am now in it. Now that I'm in a whole new in it, he was just like, enjoy your evolution. Enjoy your evolution. Then I saw something last night on Instagram where this woman was saying the same thing. And it was just like, yeah, all this shit can be hard, but just like pause. I'm changing and I'm shifting. And I'm learning that in between the levels, every time you like level up, in between the levels is really painful and really hard. And as a result, I feel like a caged animal. So I just like want to blow up my relationship. And with this person that I really care about. And so it's making me codependent and needy and pushy, and it's making him become distant. And it's just like this push and pull. And I'm in it. And I'm losing a friend, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe, who knows? It either equals, we'll have a stronger, better friendship at the end of this, or we're done. I guess that's how it goes when you set boundaries. And like I talked about last week, like your side of the street, I have a close friend that I've realized has not respected my boundaries. Most of the time we've gotten close, like I'll set a boundary and then it just will be crossed immediately and without any acknowledgement. And I was very victim-y about it, very like, she doesn't respect my boundaries. But then I like looked at it and I was like, my part is that I just kept being like, okay, fine. Like, okay. You draw a line in the sand and then the person crosses it and you're like, all right, well then this is the new line. And then they cross it again. And you're like, well, okay, that's all right. Well, this is the new line. And that's what I kept doing. And the reason why I kept doing it is because I wanted to avoid how I'm feeling right now. Right now, how I'm feeling is horribly uncomfortable because I finally set a boundary and then I just let it be. Like, it was just like, and I was met with, very manipulative behavior. I don't need to get into specifics, but I was just met with like very manipulative, like a text back that was just like crossed more boundary. It was just very inappropriate and manipulative and crossed more boundaries. And I have guidance. Obviously, that I have a sponsor and fellows, and it was just like, you just sit with it. I set a boundary. There's not much more to say. And I realized that I was avoiding doing this prior because of how I'm feeling right now. And same with my guy. Like I'll push and push because I'm scared he'll forget about me. I'm scared if like I don't like keep reminding him how great I am, he'll like decide to go away. And that's just not how it happens. Now, if he does decide to go away, that doesn't mean that I'm not great or awesome, because I am. He's a bozo if he left. Bozo. I love that word. He's a boob. That is one of my real quick sidebar. When people call other people a boob, I think it is the funniest insult. I don't know why. He's a boob. It's just a dumb. So I was in this like film class in college, right? And it was the last year before I dropped out. So I tried to take all these classes just to get like, what I wanted before I moved to LA. So I was in these like film classes, and mostly classes with like seniors who like took shit real seriously. Right. And like now I look back and I'm like, that guy was like 18. Like I was like 21. You see, I took this film class. I cannot picture this woman, but she's a French lady, I think, who taught it. And so I always picture my high school French teacher when I think about this woman. So she played these movies where we got to see, awesome movies. And then we'd watch it on like Thursday or Tuesday. And then Thursday we'd take the room and we'd make a big circle. So we're all staring at each other. And I was in all these classes with my friend Amy, who was also dropping out and moving to LA. And like so we took all these like senior classes, but we just didn't give a fuck about anything, right? We were just like laughing. We were just silly. We were fucking fun, actually. Like now I look back and I'm like, yeah, we were cool. And I would be those girls as friends in a heartbeat because we were so much fun. But these film students took themselves very seriously. And what was I saying? Oh yeah. So one day we're sitting in a circle and I don't even remember the movie, but this guy was so serious and he was talking about the main character and he's like, I don't know, the guy's just such a boob. And I knew it wasn't a moment that we should start laughing. I could not fucking contain myself. I was laughing so hard. And I was trying, then Amy starts laughing. So no one is laughing, but we're like literally have our hands over our mouths, just trying not to make a scene. Oh man, I don't even remember what I was talking about just now about being a boob. He's a boob. Oh yeah, this guy would be a fucking idiot if he left. I mean, and that's the thing. I know how this man feels about me. I know how he feels about me. And I know that I'm in my shit and I'm trying to like make it better by clinging to literally anything that'll like outside shit that will hopefully make it inside shit better. And that's just not how it works. Clinging on to outside shit to make the inside shit better. Many people have said that way more eloquently without as many swear words, but I am who I am. But yeah, I'm just in it, guys. And the in between, the levels is just really painful and hard. So it's like when you're learning new stuff and you can't set a boundary with an unhealthy person. You just can't. And this person that I love quite a bit is, going through her own evolution. And it's just at that point in time where it's just like, I think I just cheer for her from afar. And that really sucks. And it's kind of painful. And then it's making me like, it's all of my shit is coming out. And I just want to cling to everything. And like my compulsions of like texting this dude, just like, what the fuck is wrong? Why aren't you texting me nonstop and letting me know how you feel? Like, it's just like, oh my God, breathe. Oh God. It's I'm in it, man, but I'm doing all the right things. The good news is, and I've said this before, when I'm feeling good, I do all of my habit stuff, right? That way when I do all of my self-care stuff. That way when I'm feeling bad, it's a habit. So I'm still doing, my writing every morning, my meditating, I clean my apartment when I go to bed and I'm going to meetings and reaching out to my sponsor and fellows. And so I'm doing all the stuff that prior when I was in it, like before when I would be in it, I would isolate and I would cut myself off from the world. And now I'm not. I'm just really uncomfortable not doing that, right? Because like my old stuff would just be like, oh, isolate and don't reach out to anybody and don't get out of bed. And I can feel myself doing that. I can feel that critical parent or that censor, that voice that tells you you're not enough, or that, I can hear it when I wake up in the morning. That's just like, why bother today? Just lay in bed. Who cares? But because it's a habit of getting up and taking care of myself now, thank God it is. I get up and I take care of myself now and I'm showing up, even though it's uncomfortable and painful and confusing. Fuck. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, who knows? And that's the thing with this dude. Like, I know he's avoidant. Like, I know that that's his thing. And so every time we get close, he backs away a little bit. And like, he's worth it to me. I know a lot of people are like, well, fuck him. Who cares? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. He's worth it to me and it's good for me to stay on my side. It's good for me to focus on my own shit. Cause like the last couple of days, all I've been focusing on is him and this girl that I am, growing apart from, because that's my codependency. Dude, I'm so codependent. I mean, I'm working on it. It's much better. The fact that I'm aware of it right now is leaps and bounds to where I was a year ago. And I'm grateful for it. It's just really painful. And I don't, and now I'm like, is this episode boring or people are going to relate to this? My brain is so loud right now with like telling me I'm not good enough. And it's just simply not true. It's just not true. So just if you relate to this at all, just keep swimming, man. Just keep swimming. You never know. You know what I mean? Like if I would have known last year, right before we went into the pandemic, I was terrified. I thought, Yeah, I told you guys this. I was like, oh God, I don't know how I'll do this. I was barely doing anything I needed to do to begin with. I was barely holding on, and I had no idea because there was so much to distract myself with outside shit. But I knew like being alone in my home for at the time it was like, oh, you'll be isolated for 2 weeks. I was like, fuck, I knew I was really scared. And I called my sponsor at the time, and that's why she's kind of not my sponsor anymore. Cause it was just like, you'll be fine. And I was like, I think I might hurt myself. And I didn't say that, but I was just like, I don't think I will be. I'm really scared of this. And it wasn't because I don't enjoy my own company. I love my own company, but it was that like the pausing and then just looking at really what was going on inside scared the shit out of me. And I'm grateful that I didn't take the other route, because a lot of people I know took the other route and was just like, okay, well, instead of slowing down and looking within and taking stock at where I'm at, I'm gonna just drink for the next year alone in my home. And I'm grateful I didn't do that, but it was really hard. And so I'm just looking now at like how far I've come. It's been a year. It was a year ago right now that I stood up for myself in the show, the Kim and Ken show, and it ended. It ended because of that. I'm sure that, and the interesting thing, and I've said this a million times, there are 3 sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. And that's my side. I don't know what his is. And it's interesting. I have a friend who's listening to this show, but she's on like episode 13. So I have no idea what I talked about on episode 13, but she messaged me, and I guess I had talked about something about us in our past, and she made an amends. And she's done her own work too. And she was just like, maybe a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to admit this, but listen, I'm glad I listened to that episode. And I'm glad I did the work before I listened to it, because I was able to admit my side, and she made an amends, and it was really lovely to hear. And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you, man, I have no idea what you were talking about. Like, I have no idea which episode, what I talked about in that episode. And she goes, I figured you wouldn't. And I was like, well, I hope it wasn't hurtful. My goal when I talk about my past experiences is to be kind, be honest, and be candid, and she said, you were all those things. She goes, you were honest, you were kind, and you were fucking hilarious while you talked about our past drama. And I obviously didn't use her name, and I keep names out of here, but I am afraid, because I know people will listen to this that show up in the podcast, and I've mentioned it 100 times or 100 times. I don't know, probably more. There's 3 sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. And same with what's going on right now with my guy. I don't even know what to call it anymore. At this point, I thought he was going to be here. I thought it was going to be way different. Now it just seems distant. And I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. I have the words, whisper words of wisdom tattooed on my foot. And it's from Let It Be, my favorite song. And it is true. Just fucking let it be, man. Just let it be. Oh boy. I have to go to the bathroom, not poop. I do have this fun new thing that my body is doing where I poop every other day, and it's just like explosive diarrhea. Is that like a new thing? I don't know. It's just, and I have to like plan for it. I'm like, all right, it's Wednesday, and yesterday I had explosive diarrhea, so I'm fine today. But tomorrow I have these 3 things, so I better get up at like 5 a.m. so I'm done with diarrhea by 11 a.m. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I'm getting a new doctor, or I'm gonna sign. I got new insurance, so I'm gonna find a new doctor in like 3 days, and then hopefully I got better insurance, so hopefully I'll get a better doctor. Jesus. Because I forgot. Did you forget what it was like to like awkwardly blow out a toilet in public? I really have to pee. Awkwardly blow out a toilet in public, and just that awful like sinking feeling that you're just like, oh my God, someone's going to come in here and I'm just going to be in here just peeing out of my butt. That's not your poop scoop. I got somebody else's poop scoop for today. I'm going to level with you. I hit pause and went to the bathroom. Apparently, I also almost pee my pants all the time now. Every time I'm trying to drink more water. Dude, I don't understand people who... Okay, I also have another question for you. I have a question. So I was talking to my cousin about this last night, and we talk a lot, right? We talk a couple times a week, and she was like, sometimes she just loses her husband in her house. Like, she's like, I don't know. Sometimes he just like disappears. And she's like, usually he just goes to the bathroom. And I was like, do you think people should tell you if they're going to go to the bathroom? And she goes, well, it depends. Now, I know that like I had a childhood that was different than a lot of people. And like I got interrogated a lot. Like anytime, like, I got like either what like Tom either completely ignored me or like interrogated me, right? There was just like no middle ground. And so I always feel like I need to tell people I'm going to go to the bathroom. I used to have this boyfriend who would get he only got really mad at me one time, but he like snapped. Snapped. Like we were laying in bed and it was like one morning we were laying in bed and just like talking or whatever. And then he just like got up and I was like, oh, where are you going? And he turned around and he's like, the fucking bathroom, Kim. I'm going to the fucking bathroom. Do you want to fucking come? Like he got so mad. And I was like, wow, Jesus. And he goes, well, why do you always need to know where I'm going? I'm like, I don't know. I thought like if you were going to go to the kitchen, I was going to ask you to give me some water. Like go to the bathroom, buddy. But he was like, you just ask me every time I get up. And I'm like, well, why don't you just go? I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I don't know. I guess if we're just like sitting there watching TV, I just think it's odd. I think it's odd. Like if we're watching TV and you just get up and go to the bathroom. Now, like, you don't need to tell me. I'm not like asking you to do like Morgan Freeman and like Shawshank and how if you don't get that reference, then you don't get that reference. But I'm not asking that. It's just weird to me that people can just like, and I think there's a middle ground. I think I take it to the far extreme where it is like if I'm watching a movie with someone and they just get up and go to the bathroom. But like you think they'd be like, hey, do you want to pause the movie so I can go to the bathroom? Right. But if they just go to the bathroom and you're like, where are you going? And like, I don't know. I don't know. Like if they like get up and you're like, where are you going? And they're like, the kitchen. You're like, oh, can you give me some whatever? Right. I don't know. I just think it's like common courtesy to just when you get up from a place with another person to let them know where you're headed off to. Like, I just think like, oh, I'm going to head to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I think that like, I just don't think that that's that big of a deal. I think like, oh, I'm going to go to the kitchen and grab something. Do you want something to eat? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's not, but maybe I've already talked about, I'm working on my codependency issues. Oh my God, I'm working on my codependency issues. I am staring at my phone and being like, why has this fucker not text me today? I hate it. Hopefully he never listens to this. Hopefully if he listens to this, we are like, years in the future and, we're fine, which is out of my fucking hands. But I would like to text him and tell him to fuck off. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm at right now, guys. Like, I'm just in a place where I just want to like blow up everything that feels uncomfortable. Like, and that's what my old shit was like. Just be like, because I feel like I'm on fire doesn't mean, or like because I'm on fire doesn't mean I need to set my house on fire too. And so instead I just sit with these uncomfortable feelings and trust that there is God in all this, or higher power, whatever you believe in. You know what I mean? Like I'm not alone in this, and it's all unfolding the way it's supposed to. And if he and I are supposed to reconnect for, on a healthier level, and it's for the greater good, we will. And not that it's ended, but it feels hairy right now. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It makes me want to like hop in a car and drive to where he is, which is very far away. And it'd be very weird if I showed up in that town. He's like, you're where? I'm here. Right. But that's like my crazy mind. My crazy mind is like, and when I am in it, I just want to do everything. I hope this is relatable. Otherwise I just look totally crazy. But like, when I'm in it and I feel scared, or like, when I feel unmanageable or scared, or I'm in it, or I feel like I'm being abandoned, I just want to grab anything or do anything to make this feeling stop. And the only thing I can do right now is nothing. Sit with how I'm feeling. He knows that when he is doing what he is currently doing, it hurts my feelings. I have set this boundary. He is again crossing it. So I will just let it be. My other friend, I set boundaries and she did not like it. And she wrote me some stuff that was not fun. And I am just sitting with it. Enjoying my evolution. I'm not enjoying my evolution. I am white knuckling my evolution. I'm fucking white knuckling this shit. But so maybe it is my codependency of like, where are you going? But I don't think so. I don't know. I used to bartend with this guy years and years ago, and we'd be bartending and then he would just leave. And I'd be like, where are you going? He's like, oh, sorry, Your Majesty. I forgot I needed to let you know I'm going to the bathroom. And it's like, well, yeah, we're working together. So if you're going to go to the bathroom, but I also, the last bar I worked at, well, this guy was a lunatic. If I was like, hey man, I'm going to go to the bathroom, he would just look at me blankly and go, okay, why are you telling me? Like, I don't know, because we're working back here, you may get busy and then wonder where the fuck I am. And then now oh, I'm in the bathroom and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know. Am I the only one that just would appreciate? I just think it's weird. I'm trying to now think if I'm like, okay, so I'm in my buddy Whitney's house, right? I'm in my buddy Whitney's house and we're watching TV and I have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I would go, I'm going to the bathroom. And I would get up and he'd go, okay. Yeah, and I think he would do the same. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's crazy. I mean, that ex-boyfriend of mine really hated when I asked him where he was going. But would it have killed him to just be like, I'm going to go to the bathroom? I guess when we're waking up, I don't know. I mean, I suppose that where else would he have gone? Yeah, but sometimes he'd go to the kitchen and bring me some water or coffee. I feel like this episode is all over the map. And this is the point where I'm like, just delete it and start over. You were way too honest. But I think it's important to be this honest because I think, no, I'm starting to work for this company one day a week, maybe two soon, where I'm just testing out my endurance that donates to, that works with a nonprofit that helps victims of domestic violence. And it's kind of a cool way to make side money and help out, right? And I was talking to this woman the other day who was in a domestic violence situation and had recently gotten out of it. And she, we like shared this moment where we were talking about like how she was just like, I really appreciate that this is here because people, the reason why it's so perpetual or the reason why it's such like a thing, I don't know, or why it's hard for people to get out of this situation is because there's such a stigma on it and there's so much shame around it if you're in that situation. But if we can talk about it, that's what I want to do with Crawl Space. That's been the goal my whole career is just talk about the shit that like I feel like makes me terminally unique. And then later I find out, oh, a lot of people go through this. A lot of people feel this way. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh God, did I fucking really reveal too much again? And you know what? If the guy listens to this episode and he's like, man, she's batshit crazy, I never want to talk to her again, then he's not the guy, you know? And that's what I keep thinking with him. I'm like, he's either the guy, and this doesn't matter right now, this little hiccup that I feel like is a hiccup. And to him, he's just like, I'm just a little busy and I don't live there yet. Like that's what he said. He's like, how I feel about you has not changed. You know, like, and I'm like, why are you calling me every 30 minutes to let me know that you are still in this? And that's just crazy. Oh my God, did you hear that loud noise? Oh God. Do you guys have Citizen app if you're not in Los Angeles? It's an app that basically tells you all the crime around the city that you're in or around you. And it's just been going on, like lighting up like a Christmas tree lately. Like it's just like real bad. Like it's, oh dude, it's like, gunshots, police shooting, burglary. Last night there was burglary by gunpoint in like Beverly Hills. It's insane. It's like fucking Mad Max out there, dude. And I think I just heard a gunshot or someone hitting something really hard. I don't know. It's so scary. Just stay inside forever. Oh man. Did you guys see My Octopus Teacher? This is not going to be a popular opinion, much like Oprah, Justin Timberlake. I can't remember I think Paul McCartney died in 1966. I don't know. My friend told me to watch this movie or this documentary, right? And I was like, okay. It won the Oscar a couple of days ago for best documentary. I don't know. I don't watch the Oscars, but it won an Oscar, right? And I don't know, like, first of all, like the whole movie, I was like, where's your kid? Because he, like, at the beginning of it was like, I have a kid and I felt lost. So I decided to leave and hang out with this octopus for a while and to better myself. And I was like, where's your kid? And then this is spoiler alert. I was talking to my cousin who does not watch movies or TV. She doesn't even own a TV, right? Maybe she does still, but doesn't have cable or any of that stuff, right? So I can freely talk to her about pop culture stuff because she doesn't, she doesn't, oh crap, my friend is calling me and I really want to talk to her. Yeah, so like I can talk about like pop culture stuff and she doesn't care because there's no spoiler alerts. But last night, apparently she's going to see My Octopus Teacher and she was like, I'm going to need you to stop talking about this because I don't want it to be ruined for me. So spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about My Octopus Teacher. And if you want to watch it and there's not really any spoilers. he was like, there was a point where these sharks were going to eat the octopus that he became such good friends with. And he was like, I felt like I didn't want to engage or like interfere with nature. It's like, pal, you already interfered with nature by coming out and having some weird affair with this fucking octopus the last like 6 months. And she now has decided you guys are pals. So she's probably staring at you being like, why aren't you scaring away these sharks? Instead, he just hid. And then I won't tell you what happened to her. I won't tell you the ending, but it was just, I don't know, it really annoyed me. And everything was just like, it was just like some dude being like, I interfered and I needed this. And I like, I don't know, it really annoyed me, the whole thing. But then it's not a popular opinion because I told my friend who told me to watch it, he was like, it's about connection and about like, looking at the beauty around you. I was like, I already do that shit. I don't need some idiot who left his child to hang out with an octopus that I think he fell in love with and then also didn't save from sharks. I don't know, dude. If something was happening to Henry, I wouldn't be like, it's just nature. I'd kill whatever was going after Henry. That cat's my best friend. And I think he has some sort of like a reliance that I would do that. And I feel like this octopus felt the same way, that like this guy we're now pals, right? I don't know. It was beautifully shot though, and octopussy is great. They are wow. But yeah, that the Oscar. I think that's the only Oscar movie I saw, which is really funny because I don't never watch those documentaries. But I was told to watch it, and I did not get out of it what this guy wanted me to get out of it. But what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Oh man, guys, I'm feeling crazy. Geez. So if you're watching me on YouTube right now, my hair is really curly and pretty. It's really curly and pretty. And it's because I learned how to French braid my own hair, double French braid my own hair. This reminded me of some stories. So the reason why I wanted to learn how to do that is because I, as you know, I didn't really grow up with a mom, and all the cheerleaders in high school, when I was a cheerleader, that was like the hairdo you did for, all the events. And today is actually my Aunt Amy's birthday. She passed 3 years ago in July. I think it was July. And yeah, she would do it for the events, I think, and so she was like a mom figure to me. But I remember one time we were pranking some girl, I guess, on the on our squad. And it was like, all right, tomorrow we're going to tell Nicole that she has to wear all of the hard shit. Like we had like a liner and a shell, and then we had the skirt and then double French braid. So it was like the harder. Now as an adult, I'm like, that wasn't really that rough. She just had to put on an extra thing and do her hair. But I was like, we're going to tell her to do that. And then none of us and she's going to show up to school in her cheerleading outfit and a double French braid. And none of us are going to have it too. And it's going to be hilarious. And I remember being like, that's not really that hilarious, but I guess I'm glad I'm in on the prank and they're not pranking me. They'd never prank me though, because I wasn't friends with them. And that would like pranking me would just be bullying, but pranking her, she was popular. So it was like a prank, right? But I remember thinking it wasn't really that funny and not really that mean. Like it was just like, okay. But she did not see it that way. In fact, she saw it as bullying as well. Showed up to school. None of us were wearing it. She cried very hard, yelled at everybody, and then said she got up at 6 a.m. to French braid her hair. And I remember being like, does it really take that long to double French braid your hair? I don't know. But it was like this big deal. And everyone was like, Nicole is so mad at everybody. And it was just like, but it was supposed to be funny. And she's so embarrassed. She was embarrassed that she showed up in the cheer. She was so popular, right? It's just like, I think about that a lot. I'm like, you were so popular. Nobody was like, ew, why are you like when I wear the cheerleading outfit, as I was in the theater group and the theater kids would be like, do you have a game today? Like, why are you even in the theater group? Because, cheerleaders and theater people weren't supposed to be buddies, but I did both. And so I wanted to learn how to double French braid my hair because I'm doing all this like loving parent stuff, right? Like I'm trying to reparent myself and do inner child work. And, I talked about the happy list and just doing things that and so one of the things that is on my loving parent list is I like to put on makeup every day. I like to try new makeup, put on pretty makeup. And because my kid didn't get to do that stuff. Like I think I can count on my hand the amount of times my mom did my hair or did my makeup. And I think those times are like 2. And that though, and like I have and they were both Halloween, right? And I never went shopping with her there. I think my mom took me shopping one time, but she went shopping and I just watched, right? Like she's just not that lady who should not have been a mother, maybe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so like part of my loving parent stuff is to give my inner kid the stuff I didn't get. So I decided to learn to French braid my hair, and I struggle with this thing where I have to be perfect when I do things. Otherwise, I shouldn't do them at all. And that was something my dad taught me. Literally, he wrote me a letter when I was a senior. So it's in writing. Such a crazy thing to teach a child. Nothing is done. Nothing worth doing is nothing you do is worth doing unless you do it perfect the first time or do it right the first time, which is perfect, right? So I have this notion, and it's held me back a lot in my career, and I'm stripping that away. That's part of my evolution right now, and it's fucking so uncomfortable. I'm not being perfect, and I'm trying things to where it's imperfect and it's perfectly imperfect and it's fine. And I'm setting boundaries and I'm giving people space and I'm not being codependent. And it's just really uncomfortable in between the levels. Does that mean, when you level up in between the levels is just really uncomfortable. You got to leave some people behind. You got to leave some of your stuff behind. And so I was like, I'm going to start small. And I know this is like tiny, but I was like, I'm going to learn how to French braid my hair. So a double French braid my hair. So a couple of weeks ago, I started doing it, right? And from the front, it looks great. But from the back, it's a disaster. It looks like a child did it. But I was just like, well, I gave for the first time in my life. It was just like, well, yeah, of course it's not, doesn't look right. This is the first time you've ever done it. So we'll just keep doing it until, you'll get better with practice. And so I've been practicing and practicing. And I think it looks pretty good now. It's been like a month and I think I've got it down. And also, by the way, Nicole, in high school, I've never double French braided my hair before up until like a month ago. And the very first time I did it, though, it was not that great. But up until now, it took me maybe a half hour. Now I can do it in 15 minutes. So I don't know what the fuck you got up at 6 a.m. for, but I feel like you were exaggerating a little bit. Oh my God, what is that noise? I'm going to look outside the closet. Oh, so scary. I also have a neighbor that I think they're influencers or MMA people or both. I'm not sure. My other neighbor told me that. But I guess no one's in I'm always so scared that if I open up my door, Darth Vader will be in there. Think about how scary Darth Vader would be if he was just in your bedroom. Think about it. I know that that's a weird off the wall fear, but think about it. That would be horrifying. Him and Batman or Johnny Depp. And not even just eyeliner Johnny Depp, just regular Johnny Depp, just sitting in your bedroom. I'd crap my pants. But so I'm learning how to French braid my hair, and it's not perfect, but I washed it 3 days ago, and then I left it in a French braid for a few days, and now it's super wavy and I love it. But it's really, it's just bringing up a lot of stuff. I am looking back on my childhood right now. I'm in this odd spot in recovery and my evolution. I know I keep using that word, and maybe you guys are like, fuck off with all that, but I like the word. I like how it, because it is, I'm evolving, I've moved from a spot in looking back on my childhood where I'm not angry or sad or, in denial about how bad it was, but I am looking at some of the softer places, the nicer places. And my dad was not a good dad. He was a bad guy, but it's not black and white. And that's what I'm trying to look at and live in, the gray. It's not black and white. It's gray. And yeah, what he did to me was black and white. I'm not negating that. I'm not dismissing that. It is something that I will probably have to deal with every single day the rest of my life in order to not backslide into the girl that is, the girl that the only part of my identity was I was sexually abused, or my parents were alcoholics. But I did this workshop a couple of weeks ago, in ACA. It was like a camp recovery. It was called Camp Recovery, actually, but it was like a whole weekend of just Zoom workshops. And we did this meditation where we're supposed to picture an animal. And I know this isn't an animal, but a dragon came up. And I drew the dragon, and I sat with the dragon, and I was like, what is that? And the dragon, and I Googled it, and it meant strength and, fearlessness and evolution, something like that. I think evolution was in it. evolving or ever evolving. I don't remember. I should probably have had it up right now when I talked about it on the podcast, but I do not. So I, so I started, I drew the dragon, and then I realized, and then I remembered my dad and I used to, in car rides, sing various songs. And one of the songs that we'd always sing was Puff the Magic Dragon. We'd sing Puff the Magic Dragon. And people think that song's about drugs, but it's actually about losing childhood innocence, which is sort of funny because Tom took away my childhood innocence. Sorry, I had to make some sort of joke in there, even though that's not a funny joke. And unless you were sexually abused, you will not laugh at that. People who have not been sexually abused do not laugh at my sexual abuse humor, which I find annoying. Just kidding. But then, yeah, he also used to do that. He never French braided my hair, but he learned how to crimp my hair. I still have the crimper. I have no idea how to crimp my own fucking hair, but the guy would I would come downstairs and I'd want my hair crimped. It was like, the late 80s, early 90s, and I wanted my hair crimped. And my dad would, plug the crimper in the kitchen plug, and I would sit down and he would just sit and crimp my hair. And it would take like 2 hours, but he would do it. And I looked crazy. I looked like a crazy person. My hair was just like as big as it possibly could get. And plus I was missing a lot of my teeth. And I kind of look like Sid from Toy Story, the one who destroys all the bad kid. But he would, and so just like looking at it, and who knows, in another a month or so in my process, my of ever evolving myself, maybe I won't be as melancholy. That might not be the right word of looking back on my childhood. But there were some pockets of loveliness, and that guy. Yeah, bad guy. Don't get me wrong. What he did was atrocious and unforgivable. And if there's a hell, he's probably in it. But my spirituality, spiritual beliefs don't align with a heaven or hell. And but there was some light parts in there, and I'm grateful for those. And it did, however, and it still does make the abuse I endured confusing, because it wasn't all bad. But I think that's what happens in abuse when you're in an abusive situation. I mean, not all of them, and I don't want to speak for every one of them, but in my experience, every abusive relationship I've been in, down to my parents, there was loveliness in there somewhere, which made it confusing and harder to leave. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with, the boundary setting. Obviously, it's not abusive the way Tom was abusive, but on some level, it's abuse. Because it's like, I'm asking you not to do this thing and you're doing this thing over and over again. But abuse is such a strong word. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Oh God, it's just all so uncomfortable. I'm just so fucking uncomfortable right now. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm so uncomfortable. Let's end it. But I'm going to wrap it up with I'm one lucky broad, as uncomfortable as I am. As uncomfortable as I am right now, I'm grateful for this process. I am. I'm going to listen to that Eric Lampere, and I'm also going to try and get him on the show. I think he'll say yes. I think he moved to like Paris or some shit. I have no idea. But I'm going to enjoy this evolution, and I'm grateful that I'm feeling this uncomfortable, because it does mean that I'm gonna hit the next level soon. Each time you go to a new level, you hit a really rough, uncomfortable patch, and I'm in it right now. And that means I'm doing the work, and I'm grateful. I'm one lucky broad that I found the support and recovery I have in order to work on myself. I think my stomach just said a word, but I don't think that's real. It sounded like it was like, hello, Dan. That's odd. Yeah, so I'm one lucky broad that I am evolving. And even though it's painful and uncomfortable, I'm going to keep walking through it, because on the other side, I've been to the other side of this feeling, and it's usually pretty fucking great and pretty fucking awesome. And shit works out beyond your wildest dreams. You know what I mean? Like right now, I have an idea of what I want this to work out, how I want this to work out with this guy. And on the other side of this, it's probably going to blow my mind, whether if he's in my life or out of my life, whatever. I know I have an unshakable faith that I have an unshakable faith that at the end of this, it's all going to work out for my greater good. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm one lucky. I was going to say I'm really grateful and I'm lucky at the same time, but it sounded like I said I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. But I am really, really, really grateful. And I hope I know this episode was sort of all over the place and kind of a little nutty because I am really uncomfortable right now and I'm feeling really crazy for feeling. So I hope somewhere in there's a pocket of either laughter or you relate and this helps you. It helped me to get it out as it always does. And you ready for your poop scoop? Okay, this week's poop scoop is not mine. I promised you at the beginning, even though I told you I have diarrhea every day, that may have been mistaken as poop scoop. It's not, friends. Let's see here. Okay. I just read it verbatim as I tell everybody. I'm just going to read it verbatim. She doesn't include her last name, so I won't. I think I'm going to blimp out her name just in case she doesn't want anybody to know what it is, because I don't think she said in there. I have no idea. As I said, I don't read these prior because I like to have real-time responses to it. And this girl I used to work with, she'll tell you that in the thing. She was, I cannot wait for this. She was a lovely woman, and I haven't seen her in years, but we're friends on Facebook and Instagram, I think. And I love that she listens to the show. It's so awesome. I wonder if she knows right now if I'm about to talk about her. But if you do, I would love to hear your poop scoop stories, because it only took me 50 episodes, but I've run out of poop my pants stories. I've even thought about just pooping my pants just for the poop scoop, so don't make me resort to that, or maybe you want me to do that. But email me your poop scoop stories at kimkralspace@gmail.com. kimkralspace@gmail.com. KYMKRALSPACE@gmail.com. Can I say it one more time? Just kidding. But yeah, I would love it, love it, love it. I'd love it if you emailed me your poop stories. They don't have to be necessarily pooping your pants stories. It could be someone else's embarrassing poop story. It could be your poop story. It could be you pooping your pants, plugging a toilet, just anything embarrassing around poop. Anything. I do have a new rule on I haven't asked especially since we're in a rocky place. I don't want to be like, hey, I know we're sort of like iffy right now. I have a really important question, but my cousin, his girlfriend was just in a car accident a couple of weeks ago. She's fine. Everybody's fine. Thank God. But the friend prior, I think I told him I was going to talk about this. I'm not using any names. So, and you don't know, I have 1,000 cousins. Truly, I do. Her friend sharded before the accident. So they were on their way home to change her pants. And so she got in a car accident and she had to hang out with her poop pants while, the cops came and while everything was they were being checked out and everything. And then I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, who is she? I, of course, that's all the details about her. And my cousin was like, oh, she's married. And I'm like, did she tell her husband? He goes, oh no, we were asked not to tell anybody. So the husband didn't find out. And I was like, what? I don't ever want to, if you date me and you poop your pants in any situation and I'm not the first one you call, I wouldn't, what? And it was funny because then he asked his girlfriend, she goes, oh, you'd be the first person I'd call, to him. And I'm like, that's a solid relationship. That's how you know you have a solid relationship. If you shit your pants and the first person you call is your significant other, that's a solid relationship. I stand by that. I stand by that statement. So I don't even know. I will have to ask. Well, we'll wait until, it's probably not the time to ask him, but I would hope he'd say yes. Or maybe I should ask him and he'll say no. And I'll be like, well, I don't even have to go through all this uncomfortableness. I'm so uncomfortable, guys. All right, let's get to I'm so uncomfortable. But I feel like that's related. I don't know. Let's just breathe. Ready for your poop scoop. Okay. This is from, hey, Kim, it's ex-coworker from ING. Saw on Facebook that you need a poop story. I've got one. I've got a good one for you. Well, at least I think it's a fucking awesome one. Hope you and your listeners get a kick out of it. I just moved into my boyfriend's place. And of course, the first poop is always awkward, embarrassing. It always is, right? Little did I know that it would really be the one that solidified that I've got to marry him. Oh, that I solidified that I've got to marry him. Also understand I don't know how to read. You guys know that, right? Okay. Who knows what in the world I ate, but it was one of those long one-piece poop. You know what it is? Where it's like, and I guess they're supposed to look like that anyway. Like healthy poops are supposed to be like one intestine out. I don't know. I flushed and I flushed and I flushed and it didn't go down. I thought if I cut it into pieces, it would solve the problem. I get down to the kitchen and grab a knife. She got a poop knife. He's eating breakfast and sees me grab a knife, and I head upstairs. I turn red and shyly answer that I've got to take care of something. To me, it seemed that he shrugged it off. Here I am trying to cut up my own piece of shit. He opens the door and catches me in the act. Holy fucking shit. I obviously couldn't come up with a fake story and got caught in the act. Guess what he said? Me the knife. It flushed down. It is a funny story, horrifying, but like also guy you marry. That's the guy you marry. That, you know, I didn't even read that story, and I don't know why I'm getting all emotional about it, but I didn't even read that story, and it like tied in with the poop pants. Call your significant other. Like that's the relationship I want. That is the relationship I want, and I love that he was just like, "Let me help you." Oh, I love that. Thank you for sending that. I know it's funny. It is funny. Don't get me wrong, but it's also really like, how fucked up is my poop feelings that made me like, oh, instead of like laugh, right? Because it's like she married him. I love that. I love that. Thanks for emailing in. And again, if you want to email me, kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. I would love, love, love it. All right, guys, that's the show. I'm going to do what I do every week. I'm going to read you a review because I would love for you to leave me a rating, a review, and I'm going to thank the person who left me this review. I don't know if this is a good part of the show, but I like to do it because it makes me feel grateful. And I need that in spades right now because I'm fucking in it, guys. I'm fucking in it. Have I said it enough? Have I said it enough that I'm uncomfortable? It's okay. It just means I'm evolving and I'm growing. And that's what part of growing and evolving is, just being really uncomfortable in your own skin and wanting to set everything around you on fire. Anybody else? Okay. This is, I've already read this, but I'm going to read it again because I read it like a year ago. And this is one of my favorite humans and I miss him so much. Vanna Haymaker, I'm sending you some love. I hope you're doing well. He sent me a 5-star review, raw, real, and oh so fun. Kim is brutally honest, off the cuff, and outrageously funny. She minds pain to create moments that are both poignant and hilarious. Poignant and hilarious. You know, sometimes you leave a review, it doesn't, there's an and sign in the middle of it for some reason. I don't know if anybody else has seen that, but okay. She minds pain to create moments that are both poignant and hilarious. And she makes it a riveting podcast every week. Poignant and hilarious. It makes a riveting podcast every week. Thank you so much, Vanna Haymaker. That means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you get a second, please leave me a rating, a review. If you like what you hear, share it. If you want to reach out to me with poop stories while you're a lucky broad or just to say hello, send me an email at kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. Follow me on all the socials, KYMKRAL. As I said, I have a Patreon now. If you're able to join that, I would love it. I have some bonus episodes that are going to be coming out today and tomorrow. I have a crawling up this week. I'm about to record this woman's podcast for her, and then she's going to do mine. We're doing a pod swap. Her name is Katie. I met her like a couple weeks ago, and we have very similar podcasts where it's about mental illness, and it's funny. I mean, I don't think mine's specifically about mental illness, but we talk about it a lot because you girls a little mentally ill. I'm not shy about that at all. My brain's broken, but I work every day to make it operate beautifully. Oh my God, I'm so crazy right now, you guys. I want to run a mile, but my body won't let me. But yeah, it's called crying behind sunglasses. And so I will post about that episode when it releases, and then she will be my Oh my God, my whole thing just shut down. That's wild. I don't even know what I was saying. I think I was just wrapping it up and saying bye. But yeah, everything just stopped. It was like I think I hit something. Who knows? Who cares? We're back in. But yeah, new crawling up episode this weekend. I think that is it. Thank you guys for all your support. Thanks for the love you sent my way. I hope you are doing well, staying safe, and I'll talk to you soon.